two-step equations. Scoliosis. Grady is a doctor who wants to treat a patient with scoliosis with C's, which stands for Scientific Exercise Approach to Scoliosis. It is an individualized exercise program to help treat scoliosis in the low-medium degree curves during growth to help avoid the need to put on a brace, or for adults past growing to stop scoliosis from getting worse and to help stabilize. The doctor prescribes this exercise for a whole month of 10 hours, not including the session with the physiotherapist for 60 minutes. On a given week, for 6 days of exercise, how many minutes is that per day? So, we will use this formula. 4A is equal to 600 over 6. So, we will use this formula. And so, before we work towards solving this, let's make sure we know what it's asking. First, we have an unknown, the number of minutes of exercise in a day. So we're going to use the variable A as a placeholder for the unknown. The 4 represents the number of weeks in a month, and the 6 represents 6 days of exercise each week. And the 600 represents the 10 hours of exercise, as there are 60 minutes in 1 hour. So before we even started, we multiplied 60 times 10 to get 600. All right, now before we solve, we need to go over some rules. So, simplifying, we use the order of operations, and we multiply and divide before we add or subtract. In solving, we work backwards and we add and subtract before we multiply and divide. Since we're simplifying first, as we go back to our equation, we're going to divide first. So, we have 600 divided by 6. Or, as shown like this, is equal to 100. Because 6 goes into 6 one time. So we go minus 6 below. This gets us to 0. And anytime we add 0 below, 6 goes into 0 0 times. So 6 times 0 is 0. Then we have the 0 below. We add the other 0. And 6 goes into 0 0 times again. So we have 100. So now we have 4A is equal to 100. So now the next step is to solve. So 4A is really a multiplication. So to isolate A to one side, we will need to divide both sides by 4. So 4 divided by 4 is going to just become 1, or A on the left hand side. And then we have 100 divided by 4. So A is now equal to 25. So if you forgot how 4 goes into 100, you can go like this. 4 goes into 10 2 times. 4 times 2 is 8. Then we subtract, we get the 2. Now we bring down the 0. 4 goes into 20. Now 5 times. So this is our answer. She will need to exercise 25 minutes per day for 6 days a week for 4 weeks. Now let's go to another example. Hannah has significant curve in her spine. Her orthopedist is requiring that she wear her brace for the next 90 days in an effort to stabilize the curve in her spine. During these 90 days, she will be required to wear her brace for a total of 1,440 hours. However, she is allowed to take off the brace for swimming lessons. This means that she will not be required to wear the brace for 90 hours of this time. What is the total number of hours that Hannah will need to wear the brace every day? So let us use this formula to solve. So, as we are solving, we are now working backwards. So first we need to look for the addition and subtraction. So we see that we have 1,400 minus 90. And this is what we will do first. So off to the side, let us subtract. 0 times 0. 0 minus 0 is 0. 4 minus 9 is not possible, so we must borrow from the other 4 to get to 3. Put the 1 to give us 14 now. So 14 minus 9 is 5. 3 below, and then the 1. So now we have 90H, which is equal to 1350, or 1,350. Now, the final step will be to divide. So, to divide, we will divide both sides by 90. So, this will cross out, and now 1,350 divided by 90 is what we will do next. So we know that we will need to do some long division. So 90 goes into 1,350. How many times? So 90 can go into 135 one time. So 90 times 1 is 90. So let's subtract. So 5 minus 0 is 5. 3 minus 9 is not possible. So we will borrow from the 0. We add the 3. Add it to the 3. So we have 13. So 13 minus 9 is 4. Now we can bring down the 0. And now we go 90 goes into 450 5 times. Because we know 9 times 5 is 45. So then we add the 0. And if you're not sure, you can always multiply 90 times 5 off to the side. So for our answer, this crosses out, and now H is equal to 15. So Hannah will need to wear her brace for 15 hours a day for 90 days. So in summary, when you're solving, you work backwards and start with adding and subtracting before you begin multiplying and dividing. And when you're simplifying, you will use the order of operations and multiply and divide before adding and subtracting. Now, let's go to one more example.